Okay guys, Sailing Prepper back for another video. There will be one more after this, and that's when I take the bread out and eat it. This will be a short one with the cooking because it's pretty simple. I have my bread. It's risen. I left it a little longer to let it rise, take the towel off. And with this bread, I'm obviously... I'm trying to light just a little more brightness in here. There we go. With this bread, this dough here that you see, all I have to do, now that it's at 400 degrees, pop it in the oven for 40 minutes. And I walk over to the microwave and set the timer. By the way, when it's done, it's going to be like this. Delicious loaf of bread. Difference is, that one's regular. I added garlic to this bread to make it taste delicious, I hope. It's the next loaves. I have a drying rack over there. Might as well just bring over the rack. Or cooling rack, so to speak. And it's right here. Good to have a cooling rack. Place to put your bread. This recipe does require you to have 2 loaves for each one. Me and my roommate went through 1 loaf and he already started on the other, so it's obviously good. He won't admit it, but it is good. One thing I've done with this one is I buttered it before I put it in. It was a little bit of a change, but I buttered it with garlic butter. Now I'm going to butter it again like the guy who did it, with the recipe that I learned from YouTube. I'm going to butter it again afterwards. It helps keep it soft, I guess. He did it with regular, and so did I with my other loaf. I'm doing it with this one with garlic, because I added garlic into the mix. I want a garlic loaf. Now, what can I say? Like I've been saying, you're on a boat. Being able to do this is going to help you. If the world ends, this will help you survive. You need to know how to cook. You need to know how to bake. Or you're going to have to learn to deal without. And if you can't make anything, you're going to have a hard time surviving if you can. This is actual basics for prepping. Prepping for the worst. Knowing how to do the basic things that your ancestors did that most people now take granted for. And it sounds ridiculous, at least coming from my time, because in my time, this was a standard. Okay, knowing how to do at least some of this was a standard. The bread thing's new to me, but some of it was a standard. And why was it a standard? Because your grandmother did it. Because your great-grandmother did it. Your parents did it. Okay? Now, people just go to the store and buy everything. Prepackaged. There's a machine. They press a button at some factory and it pumps out a loaf of bread like this. And it just has a thing that slices it and all those wonderful little things. But what if you can't get this for whatever reason? What if you can't get that and you're gonna go without? You're gonna go without. On a sailboat, if you're out in the ocean, it's kind of hard to do. It's best to learn to bake your own bread. My boat has an oven. It's actually got more counter space than I got here, even though it's a smaller kitchen. Because all this is used for like the sink, and we have that taken over. So on my boat, I'll be baking bread. I might buy a few loaves because I'm lazy like everybody else. But I'm going to bake bread there too. That's why I'm learning how to do these bread bakes. I want to be able to make bread, which is very similar to making pizza dough. I worked in a pizza shop, so I kind of know that one. Anyways, you know, my personal opinion is everybody right now gets some type of vehicle, even if it's not a boat. Get an RV, get a truck, put a camper on the back of it, get a van, get it so you can put a bed in it